I have watched Sonic 3 twice, and once for Mufasa, and let me tell you that Disney's Mufasa is nothing but a soulless cash grab, while Sonic 3 proves that even a movie about a blue hedgehog can deliver heart, depth, and respect for its audience. Yeah, I said it. These two movies dropped on the same day, and the difference between them couldn't be more obvious. One of them is a labor of love that embraces everything fans adore about its source material. The other, a hollow attempt to recycle nostalgia and slap a premium price tag on it. Let's start with Sonic 3, which took everyone by surprise. This movie understands something fundamental. You don't need to water down your story just because your audience includes kids. Instead of playing it safe, it dives deep into themes of grief, abandonment, and redemption through Shadow the Hedgehog's story. Keanu Reeves brings this raw, wounded energy to Shadow that hits harder than anyone expected. His performance isn't just sad character is sad. It's this layered exploration of someone whose pain has completely consumed them. When Shadow talks about Maria, you feel the weight of 50 years of grief crushing down on him. The movie doesn't shy away from showing how loss can break someone, even in a franchise about a blue hedgehog who runs fast. What makes this work is how the movie balances its heavier moments with genuine fun. Jim Carrey goes full throttle as both Robotnik and Gerald, bringing this manic energy that somehow works perfectly against Shadow's intensity. The movie knows when to let loose and when to pull back, creating this perfect rhythm between its serious moments and its more ridiculous ones. Now let's talk about Mufasa, Disney's latest attempt to squeeze money out of your childhood memories. This movie doesn't just miss the mark, it actively destroys what made these characters great in the first place. Take Scar, one of Disney's most complex villains. In The Lion King, he's this calculating, bitter character whose jealousy has poisoned him over years. In Mufasa, they turned him into an incel who throws a tantrum because his brother got the girl. It's not just bad writing, it's disrespectful to the character. The whole movie plays out like someone took the Lion King script, shuffled the pages, and decided that was good enough. They even recycled the same emotional beats, but without any of the impact. Mufasa's supposedly epic origin story boils down to he was chosen because the script said so. There's no actual character development, no earned moments, just a series of things that happen because they need to get to the end of the movie. The contrast between these films reveals a brutal truth about modern filmmaking. Sonic 3, despite being based on a video game about a fast blue hedgehog, actually respects its audience enough to tell a real story with real stakes. Meanwhile, Disney's banking on nostalgia to carry a movie that has nothing new to say and no reason to exist. Look at how each movie handles its themes. Sonic 3 weaves abandonment and redemption into its core narrative. When Shadow finally lets go of his hatred, it feels earned because we've watched him struggle with his pain throughout the film. But when Mufasa tries to tackle similar ideas, it just throws them at the wall, hoping something will stick. The movie's too afraid to actually explore these themes, so instead it just name drops them and moves on. Also, Sonic 3 comes out swinging with these heavy themes about family and identity, right? And I know what you're thinking. It's a Sonic movie. How deep can it really be? But hear me out. The way they handle Shadow's whole deal is actually kind of brilliant. This dude's been frozen for 50 years, wakes up to find everything he loved is gone, and now he's just drowning in rage. It's not just, oh, I'm angry, time to fight. They actually show us why he's so messed up. And the thing that really got me, the way they parallel Shadow and Sonic's experiences with loss. Sonic's got this whole optimistic found family thing going on, while Shadow's stuck in this spiral of grief and revenge. You've got these two characters dealing with basically the same trauma in completely opposite ways. That hits hard because it feels real. People process loss differently, and the movie actually respects that enough to explore it. Now let's talk about Mufasa for a second, because holy, what a mess. They're trying to tackle the same kinds of themes, family, betrayal, all that good stuff. but it's like they're checking boxes on a Disney movie checklist. You want family drama? Here's some random flood separating Mufasa from his parents. Want betrayal? Here's Scar getting mad because he got friend-zoned. I'm not even kidding. That's literally their explanation for one of Disney's best villains turning evil. The thing that drives me crazy about Mufasa is how it just doesn't get it. The original Lion King worked because these themes felt earned. Scar's jealousy, Mufasa's wisdom, Simba's journey, it all made sense. But this prequel? They've got all these gorgeous visuals. Like, seriously, you can count every hair on these lions, but there's nothing behind their eyes. It's all surface level. And don't even get me started on what they did to the original story. You remember how Mufasa was this wise king who understood the circle of life and all that? Well, apparently that wasn't interesting enough, so they had to make him this chosen one character who just happens to be special because reasons? They took this complex character and flattened him into this generic hero's journey template. Here's what kills me. Sonic 3 proves you can do this right. Shadow's whole redemption arc? That stuff hits because they put in the work. They show us his pain, his confusion, his anger. When he finally starts to change, it feels earned because we've been on that journey with him. But Mufasa? They just expect us to care because, remember Lion King? That was good, right? It's actually kind of wild that the movie about the fast blue hedgehog ended up being the one with more emotional depth than Disney's prestige project. But that's what happens when one movie actually respects its themes and characters, while the other is just trying to cash in on your nostalgia. And you know what really seals it for me? Sonic 3 isn't afraid to let its moments breathe. When Shadow's dealing with his grief over Maria, or when Sonic's trying to connect with him, those scenes take their time. They trust the audience to follow along with these heavier themes. Meanwhile, Mufasa's rushing through emotional beats like it's got somewhere better to be. Spoiler alert? It doesn't. Jim Carrey deserves a whole segment here, because what he pulls off with both Robotnik and Gerald is nuts. Remember when comedic performances could make you laugh without trying too hard? That's what Carrey brings. He's not just doing his usual thing. He's crafting two distinct characters that bounce off each other perfectly. The scenes where both Robotniks interact feel unscripted, giving us those genuine laugh-out-loud moments we don't get enough of anymore. Now for the Easter eggs. Sonic 3 drops them everywhere, but never interrupts the story to point them out. The sound effects, the music cues, even how Shadow moves, it's all there for fans to catch, but you don't need to get the references to follow what's happening. That's how you respect both old fans and newcomers. Flip over to Mufasa and, wow, they spent millions making these lions look photorealistic, but nobody stopped to ask if they should. The CGI is technically impressive, but lacks any personality. These lions might look real, but they feel dead inside. The movie drags through scenes that should pack emotional punches, turning what should be powerful moments into a chore. Let's talk about why these movies hit differently with audiences. Sonic 3 builds on what worked in the first two films while pushing into new territory. They earned the right to go darker with Shadow's story, because they proved they could handle their characters with care. The franchise evolved naturally, bringing the audience along instead of leaving them behind. Mufasa does the opposite. Disney looked at the Lion King's success and thought, let's do that again, but worse. They assumed nostalgia alone would carry the film, but audiences aren't buying it anymore. We've seen too many soulless remakes and prequels. We know when a movie exists just to make money versus when creators actually have a story to tell. The box office numbers tell the story. People chose the movie that respected them over the one that tried to manipulate them. Sonic 3 proves you can make a successful franchise film without sacrificing creativity or treating your audience like they're stupid. Meanwhile, Mufasa shows exactly what happens when you prioritize marketability over storytelling. That's the real lesson here for studios. Audiences can tell the difference between passion and product. Sonic 3 succeeded because everyone involved seemed to genuinely care about making something entertaining. Mufasa failed because it felt like a corporate PowerPoint presentation turned into a movie. Sonic 3 pulled off something rare. It turned a video game property into a legitimate film franchise. Think about that. Video game movies were a joke for decades, but here we are, 3 movies deep, and they keep getting better. They understood their audience without pandering to them. The creators knew Sonic fans wanted to see Shadow done right. They didn't water down his story or try to make it family-friendly. Instead, they trusted their audience to handle themes of loss, revenge, and redemption. The movie works because it respects both the source material and the viewers. Meanwhile, Disney's approach with Mufasa reveals a company that's lost its way. They've gotten so caught up in remaking their classics that they forgot what made them classics in the first place. The Lion King worked because it told an original story with complex characters. Mufasa exists because someone at Disney looked at spreadsheets instead of scripts. Here's what studios need to understand. Modern audiences want authenticity. Sonic 3 delivers genuine entertainment that builds on its previous films while expanding its universe. Each movie in this franchise took risks. They introduced new characters, explored darker themes, and trusted their audience to follow along. This whole situation exposes a fundamental truth about modern entertainment. Success doesn't come from exploiting nostalgia or playing it safe. It comes from understanding what makes your property special and building on those foundations. Sonic 3 gets this, Mufasa doesn't. We're witnessing a shift in what audiences want from their entertainment. The era of empty nostalgia grabs is ending. Studios can't just rehash old properties and expect success. They need to offer something new, something genuine. Sonic 3 points the way forward. Respect your audience, trust your creatives, and focus on telling good stories. That's how you build a lasting franchise in 2024. That's it. If you want more like this, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you on the next one.